So welcome all of you again. So this is Shrikant. So now we are going to start the session 3 in a one-day workshop. So I hope you got idea and you liked the rest two sessions, like what is network, what are the challenges in the network, where exactly network is being used, what are the career opportunities in the network, what are the career options like security in the data or the network voice, and what are the certifications path in the network session. So, in the last session, we have seen the certification path, what exactly the certification path we did, and I mean, how exactly the courses need to be enrolled and to do, right? So, I believe in our college, in a Coxit, we mostly cover few of the sessions and the courses. We can find it out in the college courses as well. So, I hope you got the idea, right? So if you have any doubts regarding the last two sessions, you can in the videos, in the comment options, you can ask the questions, or we are about to meet on using the Google Meet app. This is again a part of the network, good example of network. So we can meet it over there. So Kailash sir would send it out the what is the timings and the link, right? Okay. So in a session 3, we will see what are the devices, right? So I explained you the connections, and these are the connections, the technologies, but I would try to lighten some of the devices, what the core devices of the network. Without those devices, network cannot be established, right? So I would show you the devices and some of the basic terminologies in those devices. So I hope you would also like this session. So let's begin with the session 3. So there are some technologies in the network, like we cannot specifically say like these are the technologies. We can just say the part of the network. These are some devices. With these devices, we can connect some of the nodes, computers. We can connect with this, right? So these are some devices we can see. First one is hub. What is hub? We will see repeater, switch, router, firewall, what is load balancer, what is network, cloud, and the VMware that we will see in the next sessions. So we'll start with the hub. This is exactly hub looks like. So to be very honest, hub is outdated now. I mean, we are no longer using the hub. What is hub, and that I'll show you, I'll explain you. But nowadays, nobody is using hub. But what was the hub? Hub, which means there are multiple systems we can connect together. See, this is one hole, right? So in that particular thing we called as a port. Port means where we connect the system. Like in your lab, you must have seen there are multiple cables are we bind it together, right, and we put it somewhere, right? So that is the one of the cable, that is one of the box that is called as a switch. But earlier we used to use a hub. This is hub. And in the next session, see, this is how they are connected. So in hub there are multiple systems we can connect together. But why this hub is now outdated, why we are no longer using hub? So there is a reason behind it. So first reason is hub is a dumb device. Hub is a dumb device. Why it is dumb device? Because see, if you are sending one request to someone else, so what we are expecting, suppose we are calling, for example, someone is roll number 5 in our class, and if you are calling roll number 5, what happens? So everybody is saying yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, right? So there will be some confusion. So to avoid that confusion, we have assigned some of the numbers. So roll number 1 is having name like XYZ, roll number 2 ABC, like that way, right? But hub is a dumb device. This device cannot identify who is roll number 1, who is roll number 2. This particular device unable to find. What happens? I'll explain you. For example, suppose this is again connected with the internet, like this is internet, we'll see as a cloud. Okay, so this is internet. So this is PC1A, this is B, like that way. This is C, D, and PC number E. Okay, E. So see, suppose system C wants to access or wants to communicate with system A. So what C will do? C will say, "Hi, hello, Mr. A." So what Hub will do? This request will go here. Hub do not know who is Mr. A. So what he will do? He will ask everyone, "Hello, Mr. A. Hello, Mr. A. Hello, Mr. A. and hello, Mr. A." But B, C, and this particular system B or A, B, C, D, or this system E, those system will respond. Those system will not respond, but this particular hub will ask them like, "Hello, Mr. A. Hello, Mr. E. Hello, Mr. D," like that way. This is the printer, but we'll consider as a D. And then A will respond, "Hello, Mr. C." But now A wants to reply back. So this particular A would send the request, "Hello, Mr. C." Request will come to the hub. Hub again would send the message to all of them, including A. Like Hub would send the message, "Hello, Mr. C. Hello, Mr. C. Hello, Mr. C. Hello, Mr. C. Hello, Mr. C." So these particular messages would go around all the systems again and again without any requirement. So here now only 5 systems are connected, right? 5 systems are connected. What happens when it connected to the 1,000 system or 100 systems? Unnecessary message would send each other without any requirement. So after that, suppose this A and C wants to communicate, B and E wants to communicate, or like that way. So it would conjunction happens in this box. So all the messages are coming into the one box. So once they're messages trying to communicate with each other, and there is no device intelligence, so there would be a conjunction means network jam. So what happens on the road? If you are going to one of the for example, from Coxie to Shivaji Chowk you are going, and there is no traffic rules, nothing. So of course right now there are no traffic rules, but just imagine if you are going from Coxie to Shivaji Chowk, there is no inside, there is no rules like one way or two way, everybody is trying to go. So there would be a traffic jam. Same way in the network there would be a network jam. So this particular device would goes down, so nobody can communicate with any other system. So in that way you cannot communicate with the particular internet as well. So this is the disadvantage of the hub. This is the dumb device. So that's what this is now outdated now. But earlier we used to use this particular hub. So next one is a switch. This is again looks like the same. Switch is the device. There are multiple vendors, like Cisco is the vendor who configure, who manufacture these Cisco switches, Juniper switches, Huawei switches. There are multiple vendors. They do configure as a switch. So this is how it looks like. So this is a physical device. So this is the switch. So we'll see in the next slide. So this is switch connections. So switch is having two types, like layer 2 switch, layer 3 switch. What is layer and layer 2 and layer 3 we will see someday later, but right now we'll consider layer 2 are the again co-equivalent to the uh, device, like they are quite intelligent layer 2 devices, but they do not understand the IP address. IP address, one of the IP, you can see IP config is the command in your laptop, or on a mobile you can just go to your Wi-Fi connections and check what is the IP address. So but switch do not understand the IP address, they do understand the MAC address. That we will see someday later what is the MAC address. But MAC address is one of the hardware address which is assigned to your device. So on the layer 3, that is one type, that is that particular layer 3 switch can understand the IP address. So just imagine hardware address is a different, IP address is a different. You can change the IP address whatever you want to, but you cannot change the hardware address which is manufactured by company. So switch is a quite intelligent device. So he knows, like for example, PC1, this is PC1 wants to communicate with PC5. So PC would say, hello Mr. PC5, this request will come to switch. Switch will not send the packet or would not send the message to PC1. It would send the rest of the PCs, okay, first time only. Then PC5 would reply, okay, I am a PC5, I am responding, hello Mr. PC1, so this request would go to this. Now, this time, switch would not send this particular message to all of this, because PC1, because switch knows where the PC1 is, he would send the message to only this device, not the all of the device. In hub, what we did see, if this particular system communicates with this system, so this would send message to all the systems whatever they connected are. But in this situation, if PC1 wants to communicate with PC5, first time only it would send to the rest of the devices. But once the communication happen, next time if PC1 send like hello, how are you? So this would not send to the all of device. This would send directly to this system via switch. This is the intelligence of the switch. But this particular device would not communicate with the outside of the network. This is the inside of the network, like LAN, to connect to the multiple systems, to communicate with the other side of the network. For example, if you want to communicate with the internet, like this is the internet, and if you want to communicate, this is not possible with this particular switch. Layer 3 switches having some abilities, but layer 2 switches do not have such abilities to configure such a configuration on the switch on a layer 2. So this is particularly dedicated for the layer 2 switch, dedicated for labs or connecting the multiple systems together. So this is how switch works. Third one is the router. Router is the more intelligent device. So more intelligent device than the other any other systems. This is exactly looks like some of many of you having some questions, sir. Both are the devices, router, switch, side, they look same, but if though they are look same, but they are having some different capabilities, like the port intelligence, like that way. But router looks like this way. Again, this is also having different types. Like for example, in a switch, as I said, there are multiple vendors, Cisco, Huawei, IBM, or any other switches they do have, but also they do have different types, like the multiple switches, like layer 2 switches having their different types, like Nexus 7K, 7000 series, 9000 series, 29000 series, like that way. Same way, a router is also having different vendors, they are having different types. Like in a router also there is a 1800 series, 1900 series, or the Juniper routers, there are different. There are some commands or the configuration wise they are quite different. So we will see in some later day how to configure and other stuff. But for now we will see what is basic, what is router and how it works. So in a switch we did see, uh, in a lab we have connected one particular switch, and 10 systems are connected. That particular switch connected to the router. So router can send your request to the internet. So router is intelligent enough, like for example, if this is a switch, let's consider this is the switch, and this system wants to access coxit.org, which is hosted on the internet. But switch do not know where is the coxit, how to access it. Switch do not know. So switch would do, this switch would send the request to the router, because PC1, so he'll say, hey router, PC1 wants to access google.com or the coxit.com. So router says, okay, let me check. So he'll check what is PC1 is valid or not, and he'll say, okay, he would send the request to the internet, because he know where exactly the coxit.org.in is. So this request would go to the internet, and then as in a first session we have seen how DNS and how network process and this request, and this would reply with the coxit.org web page. What is the intelligence of router is router do know where exactly Google is, where exactly Coxit is, where are the LAN is, where is the LAN. LAN means local inside. Suppose this PC wants to go this PC. This is Coxit network. Okay, this is Coxit network, and now user one trying to communicate with the user, this user. Okay, so this switch would send the request. Okay, I want to communicate with Mr. ABC. Okay, ABC. So router, this time router would not send to the internet because router knows where the ABC is. So this is how router intelligent is. He knows the path. He knows the route. Router, someone calls the router as well. So router or router knows where exactly path is, where are the systems are, how to connect with them. So we router knows it exactly. So this is how router communicates with. And again, as I said, if you are using your vehicle like for, car or motorcycle or anything, so they should have some rules. Routers, same way, routers also have to have follow some protocols. There are multiple protocols which has to be followed while using the network, like the TCP is the protocol, like other communication protocol wise OSPF is the protocol. There are different types of protocol which has to be followed to communication. Without protocols, there would be a no network, there would be a no communication. So this is how router works else. So next is our firewall. Firewall is again very demanding, highly uh, in the market, highly what we can say. There is a lot of uh, people they are asking for a firewall security. Firewall is nothing but your security, how to secure your network. So very demanding technology as a firewall. Also, there are multiple vendors. Famous is Palo Alto, Checkpoint, Cisco. There are the famous vendors. They do configure firewalls. Some of they are coming in the software form. Some of they come as a hardware form. So that's upon your interest. How do you want to buy it? Very costly, lakhs or 10 lakhs rupees. There is the license cost is. So, but similarly looks like the same. This is the hardware. There are different vendors like Palo Alto, Checkpoint, FortiGate, CyberRoam. There are multiple other vendors that you can configure the firewall. But hardware it looks like the same. So how exactly firewall works in? Okay. So let me give an example. For example, you are in a Coxit and what you want to do, there are 5 or 10 students and what I want is, I want only 5 students can access the internet. The rest of the 5 they cannot they cannot access the internet. I want to set some rule. Okay. For example, for the school students we don't allow them internet access. What we want college students only can access the internet. So what I can configure here is, I can configure, okay, firewall, let's allow 1 to 100 students. I'll give it a name. From roll number 1 to roll number 100, allow it. Rest of one, do not allow it. So what firewall do? Whenever any school students trying to access, he would check. Okay, what is the roll number? He would say my roll number is 101, 101. So firewall say, sorry, you are not allowed to go over the internet. Whatever you want to do it in a LAN. Suppose roll number 1 wants to access. He said, okay, I want to access coxit.com. So firewall say, what is your roll number? He would say, my roll number is 1. Okay, you are allowed the internet. Okay, this is from college to outside. What about the outside to college? Someone, suppose this is the hacker, he wants to access. So he would say, okay, here is the one of the secure file, something account related file he wants to access. So if I am a user sitting here, okay, I am a user sitting here, I want to access this file. So I would say, okay, give me this ABC file. Okay. So this request would come via internet. It would go to my firewall. Firewall say, what is your name? I would say, my name is Shrikant Patil. So firewall say, okay, are you allowed to access this file? So I said yes. I can say yes. My username is this. My password is this, and boom, you can access this particular file, right? Okay, and this is someone is a hacker outside your internet, and this is the internet. He's sitting somewhere in another country. He wants to access, okay, I want to access ABC. So firewall will ask, okay, I can give you an access, give me your username and password. But firewall would prevent that username and password. He cannot find what is the correct username and password. Again, there are rules, regulations which has to be followed. Otherwise, some of me, you can say like, sir, still if you are saying like this, but you can we can some of them can access the firewall, they can hack its internet. Yes, they can hack their internet, but just because they are not following the rules and regulations. But firewall have ability to prevent some hacking attack. You can prevent the hacking attacks. You can prevent the users, like some of the users, what I want, some of the users can access Facebook, but rest of the users cannot access the Facebook. I can put some restrictions into the firewall. There are multiple things we can configure in a firewall, like who can access internet, on what time they can access internet, what they can access internet, do they, and if I want, okay, Kailas Yadav sir, I want to check from last 7 days what he did on the internet. I can find it out. I have logs. So that is the ability of the firewall. So this is how firewall works. There are multiple certifications of the firewall. If you have completed any of the certification, if you crack that exam, I assure you, you would get the job opportunities. There are higher chances to get the access. Because one of my teacher, when I was studying in the Coxet earlier, so that time once one of the teachers, he said, I forget his name, but he said like, everybody is saying the computers nowadays very common, but he said no, it's wrong. We can say only when we are getting the printed bills, all of the, even in a tapri, if you go and if you buy tea, if you want to buy something from in a small tapri, and if he or she is giving you a printed bill from the computer, that's what we can say, okay, this computer is a common now. But nowadays, many of you, or all of my parents still, they cannot operate the computer, so we cannot say this is a common thing. Okay, so in these days, there are certifications, there are things, and there is lot of opportunity. And wherever is the computer, there needs to be a secure computer. We cannot just go and access anything whatever we want to do, right? So that's what, if we are accessing computer or internet securely, then you can secure your data, you can secure your accounts. Otherwise, anybody can hack it. So this is a very demanding technology to secure the data. Okay, so firewall is very demanding. I showed you how exactly it works. So next one is the load balancer. This is a very new and again very highly demanding, because everyone wants to give their service in a good way. Like if you have one shop, okay, and you invested around 1 crore rupees in the shop, but what happens when you are not giving a service to the clients, proper service to the clients, right? So it's waste of money. No one would want to come into your shop and buy something, right? So nowadays, giving service is also very important to the customers. For example, if you have Coxit, and now in a Coxit there is a training placement department, there are other departments, there are qualified teachers, they are here. That's what you are preferring to take admission into the college, because company, otherwise the placement companies, they are also they are coming to college, and they are hiring some students. So why this is, I mean, how this is possible? Just because we are giving a good service to the students, we are doing good job in the career aspect. So that's what the companies are coming in. So same way, if we have a bank, and there are thousands of users, and what happens, only one server is in a picture, and every 1,000 users are accessing this server, right? So that server unable to handle such a processes. So what happens, this particular bank would mirror the other services. Okay, so what is mirror? So one server having ABC data, so we will install other three servers and having the same data, ABC data, in the all the servers. So what happens, I will show you. See in the diagram. So in this user wants to access internet, he wants to access server A, okay, server B and server C, okay. Same way, or set of A or set of B, whatever you want to consider. So I want to access server A. This would access server A. B wants to access. So this particular load balancer, what would check is, okay, this is particular server A is having lot of connections. So new request I would send to this particular server. This is a set of servers we will see as B, and this we would consider as a C. So this particular user wants to access. So load balancer is an intelligent device. He would say, okay, particular set of A server is having multiple connections. So what I would next connections I would send it on the B. This particular user wants to access. Same URL. URL is like coxit.org. Okay, same URL but having the multiple set of servers. These particular users do not know, they are unaware about it. They are getting the information from coxit.org.in, but they do not know how exactly it processes it. Okay, so internet would send the request, it would go to the load balancer would check, okay, this particular set A server is having multiple connections, B is also having multiple connections. So this is set free, say set C is having the less connections. So I would send the connections on the set C. So load balancer, which the name indicates, this particular load balancer dividing the loads in among the whatever the servers we configured. There are 2 servers, 3 servers, 10 servers, or 20 servers. Whatever the servers are, this whatever the requests are coming in, it would divide the load into the load balancer. This is called the load balancer. F5 or the NetScaler is the load balancer manufacturer companies. F5 is the very I mean having the extra weightage. I mean having the good career opportunity in the F5, and they are having some certifications as well, as I showed you the last video, right? So this is how load balancer works. Is cloud technologies, like what is exactly cloud is. So everyone having their smartphones, you can use in your mobile. So just open your smartphone, type Google Drive, or you can just go to the Google, your Gmail account, you can just type Google Drive, open your Google Drive and just upload one of your picture. Okay, you can give that link to anyone. So who your mobile, and okay, and you lost your mobile and now you want to retrieve that photo. So next time you can buy a new phone, or from a laptop, from a desktop, from wherever you are, access the internet, access the Google Drive, wherever you are, you can access that particular photo which you are uploaded in, and there is no expiry date. You can access it whenever you want to access it. Okay, this is how cloud is. So same way in a company, what they are doing is, suppose I have a company and I have multiple people, thousands of people, and they are using some data, they are uploading their data. So what I can do is, I can use Azure cloud or any of the cloud vendors. So I'll give an example of Azure cloud. What they do is, everything is a virtual. Microsoft Azure would give you the server access. Their servers, those are not in front of you, they are on the cloud. Cloud means not our sky clouds. Those are completely different. Cloud means there are virtual servers. Everything is a virtual. Virtual means you can access but you cannot touch it. So like that way, cloud is the technology, you can access it. So Azure cloud, they would give you access of servers. You can upload your whatever data you want to do, and despite of location, physical location, wherever you are, you can access it. So in this diagram, as I said, on a, for example, Azure, Microsoft Azure or the OneDrive is one of the Google Microsoft service they do provide. Like phone, from phone I can upload tablets, desktop, databases, servers, or the laptops. All data you can upload in the one location. So this is also cost saving. You do not need pen drives, you do not need hard drives to store the data. You can just simply, you can do use the OneDrive. You can upload whatever the data you want to upload it, and you can get those data from anywhere you want to do. So this is how cloud works in. I mean, I'm not describing in the deep manner how it works, how the connectivity is, but basic example is the Google Drive is the basic example. So how exactly you can configure the Google Drive, and you can upload it, and wherever the person is, you can share the link, he can access your photo like that way. Okay, so this is how cloud technologies are. So so certifications, Azure Cloud or the AWS or the IBM, these are the famous ones, but or the Google Cloud as well, this is very quite famous. But I would recommend you to go for AWS, and those are the current technologies in this field right now. So this is how cloud is. Next is something interesting. I mean, how to browse secure. So whenever you are opening any of the browser, first of all check whether it is HTTP or whether it is HTTPS. HTTPS, which means secure. Whatever the data, what is the difference in between HTTP and HTTPS? HTTP is, for example, I am connected to the Foxit.org and I am giving my some details, and there is a HTTP. So whatever the details we are providing in, and any hacker hacks the data, he can find it out what I am typing in, because that is in a plain text. HTTP, which means a plain text, and HTTPS means end-to-end encryption. So if I am sending some data using the HTTPS, so in HTTPS, whatever the data you are typing in, that is in the encryption format. If any hackers hacks in, but he cannot read that data because that is in the encryption mode. So whenever you are accessing any of the URL, just make sure that should be a HTTPS. Okay. So how to identify what is fishy? So many of you knows fishy means something suspicious. So if you have got the message you won the lottery $1,000 or $50,000 or 50 crores, first think, why would anyone give you such a money without any lottery, where you never enrolled any of the lottery ticket or anything, then why anyone is giving you? So first of all check the source. How check the source? What is the source? Sometimes you would get an email like let me show you if I have something in my email. Let's see. Suppose this is my email ID, and let's show you. Okay, these are the spam. Okay, so let's see. These are the spam. Spam mails are fake mails that you can see it, and see if you go here, Purab Mishra, hi Shrikant Patil, like that way, and he is asking something me. Okay, open this account. So if I click this link, so it would redirect me to some of the other URL, and it would ask me for the uh, details like what are the your account number, your date of birth, your mobile number, and boom. If I use those details, and he will check those details, he will access my bank accounts. I have a lot of money, and he would stole my money. So, but I allowed him. I provided him those details. So never provide your details. Never share your any of the details, date of birth, PAN card, Aadhaar card, even your mobile number also you do not share with the unknown persons. Okay, and last one is your basic commands, like how to check the internet connectivity, like basic command to check. For example, if I want to check if my internet is working or not, you just go to your command prompt. How? Just go here, type cmd, you get this command prompt, open the command prompt, and type ping is the command. 8.8.8 is the Google DNS server IP. So this is located on the internet. So if you can ping it, so which means you can access the internet. And suppose if I'm not getting the access, like reply, uh, like request timeout, like this way. Somewhere I got it. Request timeout. Okay, this way, which means your request is unable to process. You are unable to access internet. Uh, how to check IP address? Go to command prompt ipconfig. You can just enter. So this is my IP address. Okay, this is the way you can configure it. So this is how you can check the internet connectivity and the basic stuff like how to browse secure and how to take care of yourself. So this is all for session 3. I hope you like the video. I don't want to complicate this. That's what I tried to keep it as simple as I can. But sorry if you got some confusion, or due to some time constraint I cannot do it as a more. But we can do it some another session. If you have some doubts, you can comment into the YouTube channel. And if you have some doubts, or if you have some suggestions as well, you can give it me. Okay. So thanks all of you to participate in this course. And I would like to thank Mr. Yaman Patil sir, Dr. Yaman Patil sir, Chairman of Royal Education Society, Dr. N. Zulpe sir, Principal, and Training and Placement Officer Kailash Zadav sir, to giving me such a wonderful opportunity to give this session. And thanks all of you.